Each year, fire and explosions claim nearly 12,000 lives and badly damage more than 1.25 million buildings. Many of these fires, if discovered early enough, might have been handled with portable fire extinguishers. Most public buildings are equipped with fire extinguishers, very often along other fire protection systems like sprinklers, smoke, and heat detectors. But unlike automatic sprinklers, the effective use of portable fire extinguishers requires know-how on the part of the people who live and work in these buildings. In offices, for instance, it's common to find a pressurized water extinguisher intended for use on ordinary combustibles, like paper, wood, cloth, and rubber, which are referred to as Class A hazards. In a factory, you might find a carbon dioxide extinguisher intended for use on flammable liquid fires or fires involving live electrical equipment. Flammable liquids are referred to as Class B hazards. Live electrical equipment is referred to as a Class C hazard. In the home, the most common extinguisher is the multipurpose ABC dry chemical type, effective on all common fire hazards: ordinary combustibles, flammable liquids, as well as live electrical equipment. To select and use an extinguisher properly, it is helpful to know something about fire. In principle, fire is simple. 3 conditions are necessary for the chemical chain reaction known as fire to take place: the presence of oxygen in the air, fuel, and a source of heat. Together, oxygen, fuel, and heat form a relationship known as the fire triangle. Remove any of the elements of the fire triangle or interfere with the chemical chain reaction, and the fire goes out. For ease of selection, fire extinguishers are identified according to the ABC classification of fire hazards. Class A fires involve ordinary combustibles. The most common extinguisher intended for use exclusively on Class A fires is the pressurized water extinguisher. Using this type of extinguisher is quite simple. Hold the extinguisher upright, pull out the safety pin, and squeeze the lever. Aim the hose at the base of the fire. The water puts out the fire by cooling the fuel, so it is important to soak the fire well, even after it appears to be out. Smoldering embers can cause the fire to flare up again. The water in this 2.5-gallon tank will last for about 60 seconds, although the stream can be stopped and started again. The maximum distance the stream will carry is about 40 feet. As with all extinguishers, the water extinguisher should be recharged immediately after use, no matter how much water may be left in the tank. Class B fires involve flammable liquids, gases, and greases. This is a standard flammable liquid pan fire, used by experts to test extinguishers. Most extinguishers intended for use on flammable liquids are rated for more than one type of fire. This is the multipurpose ABC dry chemical extinguisher. The operating mechanism for the ABC extinguisher is similar to that of a water extinguisher, although the technique for its effective use on a fire of this size is very critical. Let's see how critical, this time more slowly. With a flammable liquid fire, it is particularly important how you approach and aim the extinguisher. The maximum range for a dry chemical extinguisher is 12 to 20 feet, much shorter than for the water extinguisher. After pulling the pin, aim at the base of the fire and squeeze the lever. Sweep the extinguisher from side to side, starting at the front edge of the fire. The discharge will last from 8 to 25 seconds, depending on the size of the extinguisher. The ABC extinguisher blankets the fuel and interrupts the chemical chain reaction at the fuel surface. Once the fire is out, continue blanketing the fuel to prevent the fire from flashing up again. Class C fires involve energized electrical equipment. This poses special problems because of the dangers of electrical shock while fighting the fire. Extinguishing agents must be non-conductive, so you should not use water on a fire in or around live electrical equipment. A common extinguisher used on live electrical fires is the combination BC carbon dioxide or CO2 extinguisher, easily identified by the cone. To use a carbon dioxide extinguisher effectively, it is necessary to get even closer to the fire than you would with other types of extinguishers, 3 to 8 feet. This is because the carbon dioxide is released as a gas and readily dissipates. As with other extinguishers, the most effective technique is to sweep the extinguisher side to side, starting at the front edge of the fire and aiming at its base. The carbon dioxide blankets the fuel, restricting the free access of oxygen. In effect, it smothers the fire. When extinguishers are used properly, firefighting can be made to look easy. But don't be fooled. Using an extinguisher safely and effectively is easy only if you understand certain basic things. Most important, never fight the fire if it's too big or spread out. The effectiveness of a fire extinguisher is limited by its size and range, and your ability to approach the fire. In addition to the problem of extreme heat, most fires produce toxic gases, which, in an enclosed space, can overcome you. If you choose to use the extinguisher, be careful how you approach the fire. Watch your hair and clothing. The flames can turn suddenly, and the force of the extinguisher can actually spread the fuel. Be sure the extinguisher is fully charged and working properly. In order to ensure the effectiveness of an extinguisher, you must be able to deliver a sustained and concentrated supply of extinguishing agent to the base of the fire. Neither a partially charged nor a casually aimed extinguisher can do this. Don't tilt the extinguisher. Some older types of extinguishers have to be inverted to activate, but newer extinguishers, particularly the dry chemical type, stop releasing extinguishing agent when tilted or turned upside down. And finally, remember, fire extinguishers work only if you find them and use them effectively while the fire is still small. The time wasted in hunting for an extinguisher and learning how to operate it can mean the difference between a small fire incident and a catastrophe. Despite their limitations, fire extinguishers can be effective in putting out small fires when handled properly. Familiarize yourself with the location and operation of extinguishers before an emergency. Take the time to read the label. Examine nearby fire hazards. In the event of an emergency, remember that the fire extinguisher is not a substitute for calling the fire department. Sound the alarm and, if possible, evacuate the premises before attempting to use a fire extinguisher.
I would say they should learn how to use it, they should read the directions, they should keep it in good shape, and they should only use it if they know that if they fail within the first few seconds, they can get out.
So in the middle, you see that green scratch. That's what we call an emulsion scratch. Basically, you have two types of scratches when it comes to films. You have ones that are on the base, which is clear, and those are usually black because those, when the light hits it, it makes a little shadow. And then you have ones that are on the emulsion side, where all the visual information is stored, and it basically just scrapes away at the emulsion, so what's left is a little green stripe or a white stripe. You will also have little black stripes on the emulsion side, which, if I wasn't at my house, we could use a wet gate, which fills in the scratches with either denatured alcohol or a really scary dry cleaning chemical called perk, which what it does is when the light hits it, it diffuses it, and so you don't get that black scratch, and it's actually like a miracle. Unfortunately, it does not work with emulsion scratches or green scratches. So, yeah. I'm Skip Elsheimer, and welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime Streaming Show. I just geeked out pretty hard there talking about film scratches. There's another way around this, although that green scratch, I'll transition back to it real quick, that green scratch is pretty bad. But what you can do, if it's a minor emulsion scratch, is you can take it and do a chemical wash on it. And what it does is it makes the emulsion puff up a little bit and fills in the emulsion. But something that wide probably wouldn't work. There's ways to electronically do this, but software is very expensive. It's like, the cheapest version I found is like $6,000, but it goes all the way up to probably $20,000. And you have mixed results because that's graphic information that's gone. And if it's a persistent green scratch, you don't have a whole lot you can sample from. You can try and fake it. And there's some new After Effects software that I'm going to be feature that I'm going to try to play with to actually try to remove some of this. But it's a lot of work. And when you have a bunch of films, it's hard to dedicate so much energy on one thing, so we try to limit what we do. All right, anyways, so I collect a bunch of old films, 16mm, and I show them to folks like you. And maybe you're eating lunch during this time, maybe not, who knows. This next film we're going to watch is called Rules and Laws. It's made by Encyclopedia Britannica, and it explains rules and laws. Here you go.
The other day, the children and I were spending a quiet afternoon at home. Tom and Jane were playing with their trains. Little sister Rose kept getting in their way. Rose is really too young to know how to do things with other people.
Oh, she's always doing that.
What's the baby crying about, Pop?
He's hungry. Mother's giving him his bottle.
I'm hungry too. I want to eat.
Well, dinner isn't ready yet, Rose. You have to wait like we all do.
Why can't baby wait like we do? Oh, he hardly knows we exist. He can't worry about doing things with us. He doesn't know what trains are.
Now, Rose knows a lot more than baby brother. She knows what trains are, but she doesn't know how to run them.
You're not much better at our game. Lots of times you don't even know the rules. Why do we have so many rules, Daddy? Even ones you don't know.
Too many rules.
Well, sometimes we do have rules we don't need. But for everything we do together, we have to have some rules.
Well, we don't always have rules.
Sure, sometimes we just go ahead and play.
Sometimes it seems like that, Tom. But that wasn't so in that game of hide and seek we had with your friends.
Oh, that funny game?
Yeah, that funny game. Having a way to do things means having a rule. And we had to have a way of choosing someone to be it. We only had fun playing together when we all followed the same rules. All except Rose. She's too young to understand the rules, so we had to let her play as she pleased. Rules are just ways of doing things together. When we understand rules and agree to them that we have the most fun. That's why when Tom tried to help me, he was spoiling the game for Ronnie, and for the rest of us, too. We told him if he wanted to play, he had to stick to the rules we all agreed on. So you see, we didn't just go ahead and play. We had to follow the rules of the game. Of course, there's more to playing the game than just following the rules. Sometimes we had to make up new rules for new situations. We found that out when Ronnie tricked me into thinking someone was near the garage. The joke was on me, and I thought it was pretty clever. But your friend who was caught didn't think so. Everyone had his own opinion, and we couldn't agree. Some of us thought it was a fair trick at first. After talking it over, though, we all agreed it wouldn't be fair to anyone who was hiding where the stone fell. So we made a new rule, that we couldn't throw stones. And sometimes we have to change our old rules. You remember how angry you got, Tom, when Jane ran into the street. We had a rule against it because cars going by made it dangerous. Jane said we didn't need that rule because the street was closed and there were no cars. She said the rule was good when the street was open, but when things change, the rules have to be changed to fit. When we saw it was safe to run there, we agreed with Jane. We knew we could change the rule as long as the street was closed. Only Rose kept insisting that we couldn't change rules. That's because she's too young to understand. People who understand rules know that they can change them. You see, when we play, it may seem as if we're just running around, but in games or anything else we do with other people, we have to agree on rules and understand them. We have to make new rules for new situations, and we have to change old rules when they aren't good anymore.
That's all the
silly.
In the game, we needed lots of rules in order to play. As we grow older, we don't just run our own ways.
Sure, we can't have games without rules. But why do we have rules about so many other things?
The same reason we have rules in games, so we can get things done.
It's something like this locomotive needing a track. A rule is a kind of a track to get us someplace.
Well, in some ways. We have safety rules for getting across the street, and they help us get where we want to go, just like tracks help a train. We have to have laws so we can all get where we want to go. Like stopping for a red light to let others pass. We agree on ways of doing things together that will be fair to all of us. Otherwise, we wouldn't get anywhere. Yes, Tommy, a rule is a kind of a track to help us get where we want to go. But people aren't trains. People make the tracks they follow. And the laws we make are just like the rules you made in the game. We hadn't agreed on what to do about throwing stones. And the game couldn't go on until we did agree. When we all had our say, we were able to find a way that would be fair to everyone. That's the way we get good rules and good laws. Do you remember the traffic jams we used to have on Charles Street? Our town was growing fast. So much traffic was going in different directions that there was always a jam. Sometimes it would take forever to get through town. Well, we people had to do something about it. And just like you got together in the game, we got together at a town meeting and said what we thought should be done. Mr. Harris thought we could have a policeman at the corner. A lot of us disagreed. And just like in the game, it's only when we get up and talk that our interests are represented. Mr. Johnson suggested we make a rule that traffic could go only one way on Charles Street. After he finished talking, we voted. And most of us agreed with Mr. Johnson. Well, we made Charles Street a one-way street and cleared the traffic. You see, laws are the rules that people make and then live by. And we all want to have a say about how we live. All over the country, we live in different ways and work at different jobs. We have our own needs and our own problems. There are too many thousands and millions of us to go to a meeting. So in order to make sure that we can all have our say, we have the right to vote for representatives, people who will speak up for us. We send them to Congress to make the laws we want. I remember when the river used to flood its banks every spring. A lot of people lost their homes. Everybody nearby did what he could. But that didn't stop the river. For 1,000 miles in a dozen states, it flooded the countryside. The job was too big for cities or even whole states. Congress had to do something about it. Through our representatives, we decided that what we needed was a series of dams to hold back the waters. That took a lot of planning. Because we had to figure out what was best for all the people living by the river in all the states. Well, we built the dams and the river was tamed. People needed the dams and they made laws to get them. We know that laws don't come from nowhere. People have to make them for themselves. As we do in Congress or in our town meetings, and as you do in your games. That's why we have to change laws, the same way you had to change the rules in the game. The rules don't change by themselves. When the street was closed, you had to change the rules to fit. And people have to change laws so they'll fit. For instance, a long time ago, our town was peaceful and the air was clean. We had a law that factories with big smoky chimneys had to be built on the other side of the river, so the dirt and soot wouldn't get to the town. That worked for a while, but as time passed, more factories came, and more, and even more, until finally the air wasn't fit to breathe. The old law wasn't good anymore, so we changed it. We made a law against letting chimneys pour out dirt and dust-laden smoke. We had to change the old law and make a new one, so we could live a better life in a cleaner city. In the old days, things were a lot different. Because life was simpler, laws were simpler. But today, we need different laws for different conditions.
Yes, why can't we change laws? Everyone tells us what to do.
Well, that's because when we're young, we don't understand enough of what we need and of what other people need. And things you do understand, you do make the rules, like in the game, and I follow. When you're grown up, you'll have a share in making laws.
And we'll probably change a lot of them.
Well, if you speak up for your own needs and understand other people's rights, you'll make good laws.
Oops. Yeah, great film. It's hard not to do comparisons to what's happening nowadays, but I'm not going to talk about it. You guys know. Anyways, it's a great film, and the pacing of it is very different than most of your Encyclopedia Britannica films, which tells me that it was maybe made by somebody else and then bought by Encyclopedia Britannica. Encyclopedia Britannica had around that time period, had a pretty strict way of how they did things. They would have narration, then they would have some dialogue, narration, dialogue, narration, dialogue. And this one has narration, but it's not one of the traditional EB narrators. So I enjoy it, like watching it. All right, this next film is animated, and I think I saw a cameo of Mr. Peanut. Oops. I need to fix the title here, but this is a junk food film.
Good to see you, banana. Hi, fresh fruit. Hi, apple. Hello, orange.
Oh, hello. Carrot's my name. My friends call me Super Carrot. You know, we vegetables and my friends over here, and all our good friends, well, we've got a problem. You see, some people just don't understand us. Like Harold. He's a nice kid, but he's always eating. In fact, he'll eat practically anything. But he won't let us be his friends. If it looks sweet, gooey, chocolatey, he'll eat it. His friends call him, "Hey, vacuum cleaner, here comes Trash Mouth." Even his mom gets concerned.
Now, here's your lunch, but eat the apple and carrot first, And save the cookies for later, okay?
But Harold, he wouldn't give us a chance. You'll see what I mean. Harold isn't the only one.
See what we mean?
Yeah, see? Come on. Come on.
Oh, goodness, Harold. You shouldn't be eating all that junk food. Oh, maybe once in a while, but it really isn't good for you all the time. And you should learn to eat slower. Oh, really, Harold?
Ah, chocolate-covered whatchamacalls. I love candy, soda pop, cookies, potato chips, sweets, and junk food like that.
Now, one day, a couple of friends came by to play with Harold. They liked us. In fact, they always like to have us around.
Hi, Harold.
Hi, friends. Want some candy, soda pop, potato chips, cookies, and junk food like that? No, thanks. I'll have an apple. It's better for you.
You see? They're our friends.
Are you crazy? No one's looking. Come on!
It's not good for you to eat junk food all the time. It's okay once in a while, but you eat it all the time.
Someday, all your junky eating's gonna get you into trouble. Ah, chocolate-covered whatchamacallit.
I bet you can't stop for 1 minute.
Ah, yes I can.
Okay, let's race through junk food land and just see.
Okay with me. Last one back's an old fat doorknob.
And so they set out for junk food land. Harold's friends leading the way. Now his two friends were skipping and singing, and Harold, well...
Apples and vegetables too. Cereal and milk are all good for you. Huff, puff, huff, puff, huff, puff, huff, puff. Doodle, 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 doodle. Doodle, 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 doodle. Doodle, 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 doodle. Doodle, 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 doodle. Cheese and nuts, meat and fish are all good for you too. Puff, 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 puff.
They finally came to the signpost that said, Junk Food Land this way. And wouldn't you know it, when no one was looking, Harold took a bite out of the sign.
Welcome to Junk Food Land.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, my name's Harold.
Wouldn't you like to look inside?
I guess just a look won't hurt.
Oh, eating sweets is so much fun. I eat them all the time. I started when I was your age, Harold, and wasn't able to stop. Now, some people think once a sweet tooth, always a sweet tooth. Look, Ma, only 21 cavities. Stick around, Harold. Wouldn't you like to be just like me, huh?
I don't know. I made a bet I wouldn't, but no one's looking. Maybe just a bite wouldn't hurt.
Well, it seemed Harold couldn't stop even for a minute. Soon he was off huffing and puffing, looking more like a beach ball than a little boy. He tried to catch up, but his stomach just wasn't in the mood.
Oh, my tummy. Maybe this time I should have rested after eating that stuff. Ooh, chocolate-covered whatchamacallits.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello indeed, came the reply. Who are you? Asked Harold.
My friends call me Gulper, 'cause I eat everything so fast. I'm never last. I'm the fastest gulper at supper. My folks call me rude 'cause I gulp down my food, but the joke's always on me 'cause you see, just like you, I never chew, and that's why we suffer. Oh, oh, oh.
Oh, have you seen my friends? A boy and a girl?
Well, did they have a smile on their face, a skip in their walk, eating apples and carrots and good food like this?
Yes.
Well, they went that away.
Harold began to think no more junk food ever. Just then he saw a huge castle-like factory. A sign read, The Junk Food Land Factory. The front door popped open and a little man said, Can I help you?
Yes. Do you know a shortcut to that hill over there? My kids are waiting.
I can help. But first, would you like a little treat?
Well, I made a bet that.
Just a small sweet.
Well, I shouldn't.
A goodie to eat.
Well, okay.
Good. And with that, the mayor of Junk Food Land snapped his fat little fingers, and the whole factory came to life.
Welcome to Junk Land, this is the place. Just open up your mouth and stuff your face with candies and cookies and things that are sweet. All the junk food that looks so neat.
Wait! Hey! Let me out of here!
Welcome to Junk Land, this is the place. Just open up your mouth and stuff your face with candies and cookies and things that are sweet. All the junk food that looks so neat.
Help! Won't someone help me?
So go and gobble on a nicky gooey sticky. Make yourself feel real sticky. Fill up your tummies, stuff them like a dummy. You can be a fathead too. Let Junk Food Land show you what to do.
Now, pretty soon, Harold's friends began to worry and went back to find him. They followed the trail of cookie and candy wrappers and then saw the factory.
Boy, am I glad you're here. What can I do to get out of this?
Can't you slip through that door?
I'm too fat.
That's when it was time for us to help. Harold, you got yourself into this mess. If you had eaten the good foods like us instead of all that junk, this never would have happened.
Come on, Super Carrot. This is no time to bawl Harold out. Let's get...
For everything, Harold. Food is like fuel. You need it. Junk food just doesn't have it. You got the way this time, Harold. But you'll make a mistake soon again someday. Like the next time you eat lunch, I'll bet. I'll get you then. You wait and see. Sometimes you gotta learn to eat things that are good for you. Because someday you'll find out like Harold did. We're all friends. In fact, next time you have something to eat, have us along. We'll protect you from the Growlies, the Fat Lady, and those characters in Junk Food Land. Remember, the only reason we're around is to help you. We'll protect you from being fat, having bad teeth, stomach aches, and feeling bad that junk food causes. Ask for us by name. Super Carrot, Big Apple, Egghead, and all the other helpers. We'll help give you strong muscles and bones and good teeth. Remember, the only reason we're around is to help you grow strong and make you feel good.
Apples and oranges and vegetables too. Cereal and milk are all good for you.
Wow, I have not seen that film before. I thought it was another film that we have called The Junk Food Man, which is also kind of semi-animated. But this one has singing, Misty. Excuse me. Excuse me. But yeah, that was quite something. Junk Food Land was kind of a level of hell. I don't know if you noticed, like, the color was really good, and then we hit a splice, and the frame kind of went up, and everything turned red. So, the deal, this is what I've learned, is that you could, if you bought a film from the distributor, and part of the film got damaged, you could request a footage replacement. So you could say, like, because there were like little numbers on the footage, but you could say, like, I need this much, and you would buy it as a replacement. So what happens sometimes is we get a film, and it's really in beautiful shape, and then about 2 minutes in, boom, it turns red. And then we have to compensate for it when we're scanning. And that's what I did, is I kind of compensated for it. Compensated for it. Hey, Lori, thank you for the coffee. One way that you can help us is by giving us coffee. Coffee, the caffeine percolates in our brain and allows us to think about things and do things and do this show. So that's great. What do I want to show next? What time is it? Okay. This next film is a Brigham Young University, and this is the same situation. It starts off beautiful color and then it kind of shifts over. This is called Mirror Mirror, and it's pretty great because it kind of tells high school age kids that, you know, the insecurities that you feel, everybody feels it because it's part of being a teenager. Now, the way it gets the point across is kind of weird because it's a Mormon film, but here we go. This is Mirror Mirror.
Oh, here, look at this one. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?
Not you, fatso.
Play? That'd be a laugh.
Why not? Why, the leading man's supposed to be young, handsome, witty, irresistible to women. Why, when I read that, I knew it was me.
Naturally.
Plus, there are 15 girls in the cast. I'll be first in line at the tryout.
Now, speaking of girls, where are they all hanging out now? Ask Dave. He's like a Geiger counter.
Swimming pool. Let's go.
Did you have fun?
Yeah, I had fun. Who's the biggest, lousy nobody of them all?
I don't know. Who?
Now I am cracking up.
Now, don't run for the aspirin, Larry. Everybody knows that mirrors don't talk, except in Snow White and maybe when somebody needs very much to talk to himself.
So who are you?
Just a mirror. Any old mirror. And I came to show you a few things about yourself.
Oh, forget it. I'm sick of looking at me, of being me. Why don't you turn me into a pumpkin or something?
Nah, you wouldn't look good in orange. And now back to your original question. Who is the biggest lousy nothing of them all?
Me.
Says who?
Says everybody.
Oh, I've heard them. All your life. Remember?
Larry, hand me that other bucket of paint. Well, you stupid, clumsy kid. Can't you ever do anything right?
And then there was the time.
Righteous, Rich, Hammer, Czar, Rod, Gomer, Russell, Mark, David, Don. Guess I'm stuck with you.
And only yesterday, Larry.
I'm through expecting anything out of you. Disappointments, that's all I get. You'll never amount to a thing. Not a thing.
What did I tell you?
Do you believe thing, Larry?
Got no reason not to believe it. It's the story of my life.
Around here, Larry, you are. Why, you're nothing but a reflection of what other people expect of you, and what you've come to expect of yourself. So you have been a loser. You don't need to stay that way.
No.
You decide what you can be and want to be. Then go ahead and be it.
Boy, are you from the fairy tales? That doesn't happen in real life. I've got nothing. I'm a 17-year-old runt that looks like he's 15.
A factory reject, huh? Don't kid yourself, Larry. If you could only see the possibilities within you. And don't go laying it all to your environment either. I see too many people curl up and die just because they feel the world dealt them a bad hand. They feel sorry for themselves. That way they don't have to face up to things. Is that what's happening to you, Larry?
Are you saying I'm a coward? I'm not. I just don't have what it takes.
What do you mean, Larry? I've been looking at you for years, and I've seen some pretty good things.
Like what?
Well, you're loyal, you're sincere in the things you do, you're cooperative, helpful. You've got lots of potential.
Yeah, but what have I really done?
Larry, if you could only remember the positive things like you do the negative ones. What about last week in shop?
Oh, great. Hey, Lair, come here, will ya? How do you make these miter joints fit? I don't get it.
Oh, it's not so hard. It's all in getting started right. Now, first, you've got to make sure the saw's on a 45-degree angle. Hey, look, I've got a class right now, but I'll tell you what. I'll meet you here after school and we can take care of it then, okay?
Will ya?
Sure.
Gee, thanks, Larry.
Nobody's as hard on you as you are, Larry. Take what happened in the pool today. Now, those guys weren't trying to be mean. They just wanted a little fun.
So, what do I do?
Here's one thing, Larry. Try not to let other people decide what you are going to be. Don't let your own fears and past failures decide either. You decide. And then you go ahead and try. Try hard. So you fail sometimes. Don't react to it. Act on it. Decide what you can do. And do it.
But how?
Come on, you guys. Push.
Harder, Timmy. It's the guy who's driving us too long.
Sure, push. Push! You need some help? Sure. Know where I can find any? Come on, Larry, grab hold on Dan's side. My 85-year-old grandma's stronger than he is. Come on, push, push, push.
I didn't see you.
Hi.
Do you want a ticket, Larry?
How come you know my name?
Well, why not? You go to school here, don't you?
Yeah, but, well, you're a student body officer and I'm just...
I was in your English class last year, don't you remember?
Sure, but I didn't think you would.
Well, of course I would. That display case you built for our committee was really great. Oh, it must have taken you hours and hours.
Oh, it wasn't too hard. I think it was the only thing that kept me from flunking English. How come you're out here?
Somebody has to do the dirty work. It's part of being an officer.
I thought officers just wore sweaters and had meetings and stuff.
Hardly. You don't come to these dances much, do you?
No, I'm pretty tied up with... I'm pretty tied up.
They're lots of fun.
Actually, I'm not too good at dancing.
Complex, huh?
No, just not very good at it.
Well, then now's a good time to improve. There are a lot of extra girls in there. Usually are.
Yeah, but I don't know if they'd want to dance with me.
What do you have, leprosy? Now look, there are only a couple of dances left, so I'm going to let you earn your ticket by doing a good deed. There's a girl in there that I happen to know would just flip if somebody asked her to dance. Now, you don't have to marry her. You don't even have to take her out. Ask her to dance, okay? And, say something nice.
Here's one thing, Larry. Try not to let other people decide what you are going to be. Don't let your own fears and past failures decide either. You decide. And then you go ahead and try. Try hard.
What do you want to go into a thing like that for?
No, he didn't mean to. He was up all night studying for the exam, and I guess he just wasn't thinking.
That's the trouble with kids these days. They just don't think.
They don't what?
Think.
All right, read it that way.
That's the trouble with kids these days. They just don't think. I've taken just about all I can from the whole lot of them.
I'll tell George what you said. I'm sure he'll be more careful.
All right, now relax. Take it from the top, and I want both of you to think. And give me some feeling.
Now, what do you want to go into a thing like that for?
I know he didn't mean to. He was up all night studying for the exam, and I guess he just wasn't thinking.
That's the trouble with kids these days. They just don't think. I've taken just about all I can from the whole lot of them.
I'll tell George what you said. I'm sure he'll be more careful.
And you can tell him that if this ever happens again, I will personally mop the floor with him.
Ah, come on. You can't mop up the floor with anybody sounding like you missed your breakfast.
And you can tell him that if this ever happens again, I will personally mop the floor with him.
All right, next two. Okay.
George, if only you weren't so impatient.
That's the only way you can get anywhere in this world. If you wait your turn in anything, you get right up to the ticket window and the door flies closed in your face.
I see. It's like that in everything, huh?
Right. Everything except you. You're the only person that's given me a fair deal. I don't know what I'd do if you turned against me.
I won't, George. I couldn't.
All right. Dave, and the next girl.
Hold your applause, please, until we're through. You know what I think I'm going to do when I get out of this crummy place?
What?
First thing, I'm going to buy me a car.
You can't afford a car? What kind?
I don't care as long as it's fast. For as long as I can remember, I've had to crawl. But pretty soon, I'm going to do nothing but fly.
That can get to be dangerous, George.
Good. A little danger lets you know that you're alive. And that's what I want to be. Alive.
Okay. You there, you trying out?
I'm just... Yes, I'm trying out.
On stage. Page 36. George says, never mind, etc.
Never mind. I don't want their help. I don't want anybody's help.
Sounds to me like he needs a little help.
But, George, they only want what's best for you. That's all any of us want.
Just leave me alone, will you? It's my life, and I'll live it myself.
Great Scott, another one missed his breakfast. And lunch, too. Take it again.
Then just leave me alone, will you? It's like my...
Okay, check the bulletin board on Friday. No, you wait there.
Sure. Go ahead and do what you want to do. Don't let other people decide what you are. So now are you satisfied with I'm the biggest fool around?
Larry, I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I was great, wasn't I?
You were trying, and that's worth a lot. Ah, Larry, if you could just look into people's faces and minds the way I do and see what's really there, you wouldn't feel so alone. Everybody has problems.
Like Dave? He's really insecure, isn't he?
Okay, you take a look at him.
What am I doing here anyway? I never was too hot at this drama stuff. And if I don't get the part, they'll never stop laughing at me after all the bragging I've done. They're probably laughing at me right now. Wish I were out of here. Well, here goes.
Few things are exactly what they seem, Larry.
But Barbara, she isn't that way. She's got everything.
Maybe not everything, but what she does have, do you think she was born with? Just a few years ago, you wouldn't have envied her. Watch.
Hold it. Sorry, not enough poise.
She just didn't give up. Barbara didn't have a mirror helping her out, but she had friends, teachers. She went to the school counselor. She got to know herself, found the good things in her, and started using them. She volunteered for things, cried out for things. Oh, she had some setbacks. Everybody does. But the smart person, when he finds something that he can't do, he adjusts. He turns to something that he can do and doesn't stop till it's done. There are moments of proving, Larry, and I think you're at one of them. Sometime, for everyone, mirrors must turn to Windows.
But what do I do?
They're trying out, and I never thought there would be.
Oh, I sure hope I get to play with Nancy. Oh, that's a good
Oh, you will.
It's been a long time. Oh, I hope I get into play though.
Mr. Vance.
Hi. Grueling, aren't they, these tryouts? Hold these, will you?
Yeah. Well, look, Mr. Vance. I know I didn't do too hot in there a little while ago, and, well, what I was wondering is if maybe I could help with the scenery or something. I've done quite a lot of building things.
Great. I never could build anything. Have you done any designing?
Oh, a little.
Would you like to try?
Sure.
Well, we'll see what you can do. Don't be discouraged about that tryout, Larry. Most everybody who got anywhere had it rough in the beginning. But if you want to help with the set, that's where we really need you. Now, this whole thing takes place in a modern California setting. Let's take it again, kids. This time, George, I want you to hold your position until Nancy comes in with the flowers, okay?
When am I supposed to come in with the flower pot?
Not until the detective leaves the room. Now, there's a set.
Larry, I didn't know you could build that.
Do you think you could duplicate that and fill up this stage?
I believe I could.
The cast party's on the 17th. Can you come?
Sure.
I'll pick you up.
Good.
That's a good job, Larry. See, that mirror's a cute touch. How'd you think of that?
It's kind of a friend of mine.
Oops. So Carolyn Pearson, who wrote this, also wrote Cipher in the Snow, which is that amazing Brigham Young University film that has traumatized an entire generation of kids who thought that if they weren't loved by their parents or friends, they would die in the snow. But, you know, this film in itself is just a very odd film. And I have another film that's about mirrors and self-image. It's called If Mirrors Could Talk, and it features little kids who are clowns who are misbehaving. Quite the film. Really fascinating way. And in a way, I wish I had seen this as a kid, because I would have said, like, oh, it's hard for everybody. It's not just me. It's everybody that's going through adolescence is feeling awkward and not fitting in and all that stuff. So I got one last film. I was going to show a longer one, but I don't think it's going to work time-wise. But this is an odd thing I got, and I don't know where I got it from. I can't remember if this was an eBay find back in the day or if this was a yard sale. But this is original Kodachrome home movies, home movie footage, but it's trying to tell a story. And there's no title information on it or anything, but I think this was an attempt to do something, an amateur film that is religious. There's no sound, but I just call it Kids in a Bible Story. So here we go. Sorry. The more equipment that I get over here in the basement at the house, the more distracted I get. So I apologize for that. But anyways, that phenomenal film. And really, this kind of cinches why several times a year, I do what's called Home Movie Day, where we get folks to bring their home movies and home video, and we talk about how to keep them safe, and we talk about what to do with them, and we digitize some of them, and then we watch them. And normally we do this at a library, we do this at a state archive. I already did 2 this year. I did one at MoMA, which was awesome. Then I did one at Durham Public Library. And we're going to do another one in September 12th on a Saturday, and it's going to be virtual. And I'll announce more about it, but it's for people that are in the Raleigh area. We're doing it in conjunction with the City of Raleigh Museum. And what we're going to do is people are going to drop off films and video. We're going to digitize 10 minutes of it, and then we're going to do a thing on that Saturday, that Saturday afternoon. And we're going to watch these home movies that people brought. We're going to watch home videos. We're going to play Home Movie Day Bingo. We'll have people kind of talk about what's on the film, who these people are. And it's a lot of fun. The challenge is to do it virtually. So that's, as we get closer, I'll talk more about it. And this will be something that I'll be sharing the same places that I do this. Also in October, it's going to be a home movie month. So there'll be lots of activities that I'll be doing virtual and otherwise. That film counts as a home movie, even though it's really more of an amateur film. It's kind of, we'll certainly show amateur films, and we've shown them at previous home movie days, usually really awesome kid-made ones involving stop motion and Star Wars figures. But thanks for joining us today, and thanks so much for donating coffee, Mark. Thank you for that. If you like what you saw, you can certainly donate coffee, but you can also just click a like. There's an actual probably button on however you're watching us. And very much thank you for your eyeballs and your support and your kind words. You can go to avgeeks.com. You can watch previous shows and previous films. We're doing a big effort here to digitize a bunch of stuff and put it on YouTube and eventually on archive.org from the Cornet collection that we just got in last week. So, yeah. Thanks again, and we will see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye, everybody.